Can you sell or finance a house with a mortgage? That's a really good question. I mean, the bank has already financed it once. Can you do it again without paying off that existing bank loan? Imagine that you could. I mean, what would that mean for your real estate investing? How much sooner could you escape the rat race? And how much faster could you build your wealth? Seem like fantasy land? It's more real than you know. There are multiple solutions for seller financing a house with a mortgage. And each one is a little bit more creative than the next. And they're all very doable, even if you've never attempted such a thing. I'm gonna break down the 3 easiest ways that anyone can do. Right, first, seller financed defined. This is when, instead of going to a bank to get money to buy a property, what you're doing is you're asking the seller to give you that money to buy the property. They don't actually give you money. What you do is you give them an IOU that you're going to make payments until that property is paid off. That's seller financing. And it's really easy to do when there is no mortgage, when the home is paid off free and clear. But is it still doable if the property already has a mortgage? The answer simply and quickly is yes. But there is something called a due on sale clause that's inside of most mortgages, and that can interfere with this transaction. But there are 3 ways that you can do this to maneuver around that due on sale clause. So the first way is what we call a lease option, more commonly referred to, at least in layman's terms, as rent to own. And this is where you go to purchase a property from a seller, and if they already have a mortgage on it, this is how you would do it, or one of the ways you could do it, is you would enter an option agreement. And what that's doing is it's establishing a purchase price for you somewhere in the future. And then there's a second agreement where you actually lease the property. So you actually get to live in the property with the promise to buy the property somewhere down the road. Now that option, it's not an obligation, it's just giving you first right of refusal to purchase that property should you choose to do so. And typically, a small portion of your rent will be applied to that purchase. So that's the first way. Now, before I share with you the other 2 ways to do this, if that first way is starting to clear things up a little bit and you're thinking, hey, that's not so tough, let me know by clicking the like button and subscribe to the channel because I post cool money-making stuff like this on the channel each and every week and you don't want to miss it. Now, the second way is what we call agreement for deed. And it can be referred to in different ways depending on where you live in the country. Sometimes it's a contract for deed, a bond for deed, or a land contract. And how this works is very similar to how you purchase a car. You know, when you go into the dealer and you go ahead and you test drive some cars and you pick the one out that you like, and then you give them a down payment of some sort and they'll finance the balance. Now you can take that car, you can drive it off the lot, it is yours to use. You have full right to use that car. But you don't technically own it yet because you don't have title to it. So you have to wait till you make your final payment and then you receive your title in the mail. That's how a land contract works for real estate. So in this scenario, if there's a mortgage already on the property, you can effectively buy that property, have all the rights to it, all the benefits of it, but you're not officially on title until you make your final payment. And because you're not officially on title, it doesn't trigger the due on sale clause. The bank will never even know about it. The third way that you could do this to seller finance a property with a mortgage on it is called a subject to transaction. And that's when you take over ownership of the property subject to the existing mortgage. But then you've got this thing called the due on sale clause that you may or may not have to deal with. Typically not, but it's there and that potential is always there. So you don't want to get busted and have to pay that loan in full before you're ready. So by using this third strategy, by implementing a land trust, what you do is you put the property into the trust where your attorney would be the trustee and the owner would be the beneficiary. Now this will show an official transfer of title, but it doesn't trigger the due on sale clause for 2 reasons. First, it's a common estate planning practice. It raises no red flags. It happens every day. The banks see it every day and they kind of understand what it is. The second is there is an exception. When a property is transferred into a trust, the banks cannot trigger the due on sale clause. So now the question is, how do you become the owner of it? So at this point in the transaction, the owner is still the owner. That trust has been recorded against title, so everyone knows that the trust now owns the property, but the owner is still the beneficiary. So the way that you become the owner of the property is you actually purchase the beneficial interest of that trust. Now, when you do that, that document is not recorded and nobody will ever know. Now, that was kind of the Cliff Notes version, kind of a summary. There are 8 specific documents that you need to fill out to complete this transaction the correct way and have everything above board and perfectly legal. And what I've done is I created a video on how to do that step by step. I'll walk you through each document, show you exactly what to do, where to do it, how to execute the strategy legally and profitably. And if you want to take a look at that, because this is something that you're thinking about using, I went ahead and put a link to that video down below in the description. Now, there's a number of different types of creative financing strategies that you can implement inside of your real estate investing. I just gave you 3 very basic, simple ones. If you want to go deeper with this, I'd be more than happy to give you the very cheat sheet, 21 creative financing terms. It's the same cheat sheet that I give to my private clients. And if you'd like, I'd be glad to give it to you for free. And I put a link down below. And plus, I'll give you a deal structure template cheat sheet that'll show you how to blend all of these different strategies together so you can really take your real estate investing up to that next level. You can grab that for free at epicbreakthrough.com. And also, for your convenience, I put a link below in the description. So what'd you find most useful? Share with me in the comments below. And who else do you know that needs to see this? When their name comes to mind, please share it with them. Thanks for watching. Take care. I'll see you next time.